You're watching Face to Face, live from the CSL studio. Your host, Nesta, Cann.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta, Cann. And today we have a special guest all the way from the UK. She goes by the name of Vanisha. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Welcome back once again. We had a little technical difficulties last time, but we have everything straight this time.
We do.
So what's new? What have you been up to? I see you've been all over the place from the last time you've been here in the studio.
So from last time, what did I do?
You were in Jamaica.
Living my best life in Jamaica.
How did that go?
I had a really good time in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah?
Like, even from last year's experience to this year's experience, it's just such a good vibe.
Yeah.
The people, the parties, everything about the food. Obviously, I'm there for the food, 100%. The band like Jamaica, it was such a good vibe, honestly. So yeah, I love it there.
Yeah.
Hot as hell, but I can't complain. I'm from England, so any bit of sun I get, I'm always happy.
Right. I see you have like a swimwear. You have a swimwear. I see you in Jamaica promoting a swimwear. So tell us about that.
So I was toying with this idea for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was always a thing like, is this the right time? Can I do this? And I was always doing so much other stuff. I didn't know if this was going to like work out. And then 2 weeks before Jamaica, I was with Diva here, and we were like literally fabric shopping because we were trying to like get outfits prepared for in Jamaica because they had like a theme fet.
Yeah.
So they had a PM fet. So we were like, oh, we need to make something. And I saw a fabric that I really, really loved.
Yeah.
And I literally looked at her and I was like, you know what? I just feel like I should do the swimwear. I was like, oh, I really want to do this. And she literally looked at me. She goes, you've been wanting to do this for the last 2 years. Just do it.
Right.
And within half an hour, picked up six pieces of fabric and then made it happen. Yeah, basically, that's literally it. And I'm really pleased with it. I can't lie to you because I've been wanting to do this. I've just been procrastinating or like pushing it back every year.
Yeah.
And just uncertain like how people would take it. Like, can I actually do this?
Yeah.
Like, there was so many dynamics to it, but yeah.
So you were doubting yourself, or you just didn't have everything together at the moment?
I think I was semi-doubting myself, honestly.
Yeah. So you just go for it.
Yeah, literally. I was doubting myself, and I was just like, how do I do this? How would I promote it? Or, like, how much do I even, like, do this for? Would people even like this? And the thing with me is, whenever I go on holiday, I'm that person, I always need to have new swimwear.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like to wear the same thing twice. I know it sounds mad, but I just like it when I'm on holiday to buy new stuff.
Oh.
And then sometimes I would just see things that I would buy for the sake of buying just to have.
Yeah.
But not actually be completely in love with it. I just needed something and that's all they had. And then when I went to a fabric store, I would see all these like different fabrics. I was like, oh my God, I would love this for this, or I'd love this for that.
Right.
But I just didn't know, I didn't know how to go about it. I just wasn't making things happen.
Yeah.
Like, it was there. I just think I needed like a push or be like, get a grip, just do this, you can do this sort of thing. And just did it. And
now you got the ball rolling. You got, and the feedback is pretty good, right? I see you gonna,
honestly, the feedback's been amazing. Like, I didn't really know what the feedback was going to be like.
Yeah.
I didn't have any expectations either. I kind of just, I was happy with it. The girls that were wearing were happy with what they were wearing.
Mm.
But the feedback's been really good. Like, really, really good. So I'm really pleased.
Now I understand you have your own band. Tell us more about that.
Okay, no, so I'm I'm part of a band. So it's not my band.
Oh, it's not your band.
No, it's not my band.
Okay.
But I'm part of the band.
In the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm with Chocolate Nation Mass in London.
Mm-hmm.
So on the Sundays, big, massive, dirty mass band, chocolate everywhere, getting on about it. It's so much fun. On the Monday we do mass and we have 7 sections all together.
Right.
All individual designers in there, so everyone has their own section. But we come together very well. So we're one of the biggest bands on the Monday, and it's a vibe, really.
Tell us more about Calypso. You have the section is called Calypso, right?
The section's called Calypso. So Calypso came along around November, December time. Like, I knew I was going to design something, and initially Calypso was meant to be called Eve. That's what I wanted to call it. And every time I was going around trying to put the section together,
right,
everything that I wanted, I couldn't either get in the time that I needed it, the time frame I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to keep changing my actual design.
Right.
And every time I looked at it, I was like, this isn't feeling really like an Eve. Like, it's really weird. Like, whenever I give a name to a section, it has that feeling of that name. Like, there's something that it is that. Like, I can't explain. Like, last year I had Lotus.
Lotus,
and
okay.
I called it something beautiful that comes out of darkness. It was like a lotus to me. Like, the actual costume and the section and everyone that was dressed in it, it felt like that. So every year I do something, it has that feeling. So when I was like trying to put this costume together, I was like, this doesn't really feel like an Eve. Like, the feeling that when I was saying that name, I wasn't getting that in return, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then it got to January, and I was trying to finally figure out the costume itself. And then I realized I couldn't get the feathers I needed in time because of Chinese New Year. And because my launch was early this year,
Okay.
I was like, damn, like, I need to now change this costume all over again.
Right.
And it was in the duration of 5 days that I was here, putting the costume together, that every day I would come up with an idea and find out I couldn't get something that I needed and have to change it.
Yeah.
I was like 4 days deep. I had 1 more day left. And I literally just stood there going, okay, I'm doing this, I need this. Finally found the specific fabric I want, and I was like, this is great. The day before I'm leaving, I finally picked out everything. They could get it in time to find out that that specific fabric was only sold in one store, and I couldn't get it. And I based it all around that fabric. I was like, oh my God. And I literally went on a 4-block radius in minus 14 Celsius. It was so cold when I came here. I've never experienced that in my life. Trying to find this fabric. Like, and then the next day I was flying home. I was like, this is a joke. Like, you're not telling me I have to start from scratch, and I'm flying home. And I finally found somewhere that had something. It wasn't the same, but it just had to do at that point. I was like, I'm going to make this work. So yeah, when Calypso came along, I kind of started parts of it. I had ideas of what I was doing.
Right.
And I had all the bits. It's really weird. When I design, I have ideas of like what kind of bodywear I want to do, and I want to give a variation for all women's body types. So that they all feel like they can be whatever section they want to be with. Because obviously not everyone's comfortable to have complete skin out, but not everyone wants to be covered. But I like to give that variance in general, and I don't want it to feel like, oh, only frontline girls can do this because they're dressed a certain way, and, you know, if bigger girls want to wear that, but that's the only option they have. So I like to give a variation. So I kind of knew what I was going to put together. But in that time, I was going to Trinidad. I was going to Trinidad, and I decided to do Monday wear. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to try and design a little Monday wear, do a little something different. So I was trying to do all these things. And on top of it, I was designing my costume for Crave as well. So all of this, I'm designing these 3 things at the same time. But my Crave deadline was earlier than my London deadline. And with Trinidad coming up, so I kind of did 3/4 of Calypso.
Yeah.
And I finished off my Crave one, brought that to Trinidad, and then I flew back home on a Thursday. My photo shoot was on a Sunday. And I was finishing off the feather work the night before, and at the photo shoot, we did the male costume. My wireman wasn't in the country, so I had to figure out alternative tiaras, and that's how I came up with this little jeweled headband, because I honestly didn't have any metal, like, framework, so that's how that, like, you just had to think on the spot, which is the most random thing, but I actually love how it came out.
Right.
In total, but yeah.
Wow, that's just a lot. It goes into
It's a lot, like there's so much random things that you never plan for that happen, and you kind of just have to think, when you've got a deadline and your photo shoot's happening, your models are here, you just need to fill in the gaps and make it work and hope that it looks uniform and people will like it.
Right.
But she ended up being exactly what I thought it was, and it's Calypso, so
Nice.
So it has that nice little fun vibe to it, bright and vibrant, and
So basically, you try to make your section based off the costume and the name of the name of the section, kind of like have the costume, the feel of the costume, basically.
And it's a really weird feeling. Like whenever I
the
give
colors
it a name,
and everything.
Yeah, whenever I give it a name, the colors kind of coordinate with the name and the feeling that I feel for that name.
Yeah.
So whatever feeling I feel inside for it, is what I try and project in that section. So I hope it kind of like portrays to the people when they like see it, that they get that same energy that I try and put into it. So because I'm really about energy, so I hope that they get that same energy when they see the costume, and that's what they get from it.
Nice. Are you modeling for any other bands? Because you talked about Crave. Do you model for Crave as well?
So I've modeled for Crave. I've modeled for Bermuda, Passion Bermuda, stuff like that. And then I do my own band as well in London.
Right.
But I'm more focusing on the designing.
The designing.
Yeah. Well, it's so time consuming now that I'm trying to focus more on it.
How hard is it being a designer? Give us some of the rundowns. I know you gave us a little bit just now.
Yeah.
How hard is it? What are some of the things you have to do?
I
stay on top of?
I always say it's different for me because I live on the other side. Like, I live in London, so I travel all the way here to get all my stuff together and put my ideas together, because even though we have certain stuff in London, the variance here is way more, so it's easier to kind of put stuff together and actually get a chance to be more creative,
right?
Because of how much there is to choose from and pick from. So I obviously have to plan that time differently to everyone else, because with my 9 to 5, like my job itself, I have to kind of fit in between. And then at the same time, like, I always, not that I don't, how can I explain this? Like, as a designer all the way in London, I feel like you've obviously got your really well-known designers that are amazing on this side and the islands and stuff like that. And because I find it, because they're so well-known here, I just feel like I kind of do my little thing here and not really kind of step into anyone else's territory, if that makes sense. I kind of just do my little thing and I'm kind of cool with it. So to like know that my work is getting acknowledged by others is actually really nice.
Right.
And shocking at the same time. So I was like, okay, like I'm actually doing something right here, and I'm hoping I'm doing something good. Like, I always was designing, unless I'm doing it because it makes me happy. I enjoy it. And I enjoy seeing the people in it. Like, when they actually feel amazing on a day, like, for me, that's one of the best feelings. Like, when they come up to me and they're like, oh my God, I love my costume. Oh my God, I feel so beautiful. Like, stuff like that. Yeah. And the guys will come up, they go, oh my God, I'm having the best time. And stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you get into it? When did you decide to just get into it? So after going to all the carnivals, you got the feel, you just, got the idea. You don't know. No,
it's not that. It kind of happened in a weird, like, timeline. I kind of fell into it.
Okay, fell into it?
Yeah, I fell into it. So I got introduced to my band in London. Okay. And that was the first year that they had masks for them. So they were always a duvet band, but they never had costumes. Right. That was the first year that when I met them, they had costumes. So, and that was the first year I'd ever experienced a band launch. Like, that was six or 7 years ago. So I'd never really experienced it. Right. I'd always gone to Carnival in London as a spectator. So I didn't even know I didn't know about band launches. I didn't know any of these things that goes into it. I didn't even know they were handmade, first of all. Like, it was that ridiculous. Like, I didn't know any of these things. And then I ended up going into camp and then seeing, like, the kind of process of what they do, and I would help in distribution and so on and so forth. So it became a thing for, like, 2-3 years. And then in that time, I'd gone to, I went to Trinidad, I did Berlin Carnival, like, I did a couple of those things. And then I was helping in camp, and I'll be honest, we had one of these, it was our third year, there was a bra, I hated it. Like, I just thought it was so ugly. So I was sitting in camp, and I kind of just did my own thing, and gave that to people, and then they were like, oh my God, this is way better than the original. They were like, maybe you should design for us next year. Oh, wow. And then as a joke, I was like, yeah, like, why not? Cool. Obviously not having a clue what goes into it, as in the process. Like, I didn't know about wire benders. I didn't know how to feather backpack. Didn't know where to source materials. Didn't know where to source gems. Like, literally oblivious. It's just that I have loads of ideas in my head. If it's in front of me, I can put something together. Right. But oblivious to how any of this comes across, or like where to get it from or how to do this. And that first year, they introduced me to 2 people, and I kind of gave them the ideas of what I wanted. And then they built the feather work, and they got me the body pieces that I wanted. I designed it, said how I wanted it. They got that for me. But then I kind of, like, gemmed it all together and, like, put it together how I wanted, because I was just like, I didn't want them to do all of that completely, because then I didn't really feel like it's mine. So it's like what I had in my head. And then the following year is when I actually came, like, then I started to do my research and be like, okay, where do people actually source gems from? Because there was, like, so many middle people that I was like, I need to kind of educate myself a little bit here. If I'm going to do this, let me educate myself. Let me figure out, like, where do you source this? Where do you get these bits? How do you do this? And throughout that year, that's how I kind of did that. And I was coming to New York quite a bit. Yeah. So eventually, with Yahoo and Google being my best friend at the time, started to find these places of where you get stuff. Yeah. And then, yeah. So
New York is your main spot where you get your material? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like, unless I, like, see something when I'm traveling. Like, when I went to Kenya, I saw a lot of beadwork, and that's when I incorporated that into my design last year. Oh, wow. But then I knew I wanted beadwork, but then I just found it over here, and I was able to get it replicated and add bits to it. Yeah. But if I get inspiration at other places, I can take that and then find out if I can get it, like, replicated or add to it. Yeah. Then, yeah, I'll do it that way as well.
Do you have a team?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I have a
Shout him out if you want to.
So I got
'Cause I know you can't do this by yourself.
Yeah, no, I definitely can't do this myself. I'd die. So I got D right here, and I got my girl
Nice
Reese
D.
in London. They're basically like my number twos to everything that
Okay.
I do. So she'll handle New York stuff, Reese will handle the London stuff,
Mm.
because they know that I'm doing so many other things in between.
Right.
And then I've got my team from Chocolate Nation that basically come and help during the most stressful time, which is August, just before Carnival, when you think you got everything together and everything starts to randomly fall apart.
Yeah.
And then you're like trying to get everything done super last minute, but they always come through and they
Yeah.
hold it down.
I can imagine July and August is probably the back-to-back times for you, for all the carnivals that you go to in
Yeah.
July. Well, June, July, and then August for the UK.
So yeah, because I've gone to crop over this year will be 4 years in a
4
row,
years in
which
a row.
is basically beginning of August.
Yeah.
But usually I have most of my prep done beforehand. So from the moment we launch, I tend to do a lot of prep.
Right.
So as the section's building, I already know that I've, like, for example, right now, I've already put an order in for wire work just to give them time to get their stuff done rather than waiting for everything to close.
Right.
Because then it gives us time to kind of do that prep work until August comes, so that it's not like a massive rush.
Yeah.
And then you're just feeling mad overwhelmed, like, and then people are running behind. And because I feel like when it comes to a costume, especially when someone's paying that much money or however much money they're spending, I hate when you see something in a picture and then when you get it in person,
It's totally. Yeah.
it's, you just feel a bit cheated. Do you understand? Like, and I don't want to be that person to anyone that's ever purchasing one of my costumes,
Mm.
because, like I said, I enjoy the satisfaction of seeing them in it and
Right.
seeing what I've actually designed. Like,
Makes you feel good.
yeah, and it also makes them feel good, which
Yeah.
makes me feel good. So I don't want to see them disappointed when they get, like, I actually enjoy the excitement on their face when they're collecting and that they're happy
Yeah.
and they're so pleased with it. So for me, that's my satisfaction out of it. Then
Yeah.
I feel like I'm actually doing this for the right reason.
Yeah.
So you don't want to ever see that disappointment, like, oh, like, and then they're looking at the picture, trying to, like, examine it. It's not the same. Like,
Not
what
the
is
same.
this? So yeah, I never want them to have that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And with you playing Mass, you know how it is as
Oh, yeah,
well. So you
100%.
can kind of, you know,
Like 100%. Like,
you've played Mass work, I'm
I've-
sure, and you're like, well, this is not what I saw.
yeah, they
What I saw in
literally,
the
like,
picture.
and I know sometimes things happen that's not, like, on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I had in Jamaica by accident, I had 2 leg pieces, but they was from the same side instead of one left, one right.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not going to complain about that. I just cut it up and made it into 2 the same size that I needed it.
Wow.
But that's just me, because at the end of the day, like, when I know the stress of it, the other side of the stress of being
Yeah.
at mass camp, distribution, if things are running last minute. So I was like, if I can figure this out, I'll figure it out. Like, I'm not trying to put any stress on anyone. Like, when I was in Trinidad, I was wearing, I was with Tribe. Love my costume. Like, Ron Evans is honestly one of my favorite designers. I love everything that she does. But my necklace literally popped. It broke. I put the backpack on, and the actual metal inside snapped, and all the beads, like, started to, like, drop, and that was the main piece of the costume. And I sat there literally before the road trying
Yeah.
to fix this thing. And I actually fixed it beforehand. And she looked at me going, oh my God, you were able to fix it. It was a little bit different to what she had originally. I was like, it was either that. Like, I'm not trying to give you stress.
Right.
Like, it's Carnival Day.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure this out right now. So those kind of things, like, I try and understand for. Like,
Yeah.
things don't always go right, but then...
Yeah. And word of mouth is very important. It's very key, because if you give people a good product, you know, people will tell
Yeah,
other people.
100%.
It's always a first timer playing Mass. Like, you know what?
Yeah, like, if you're a first timer and you don't really know, then it's understandable.
Yeah.
Because you have a certain expectation of what you're getting. At the end, it's a product.
Yeah.
So you just want it to be right. But
Yeah.
then if not everything is always right. But then if it's like something like that, just if I can figure it out, I'll figure it out. I'm not trying to stress anyone. I'm not even trying to stress myself out. I'm just trying to have some fun.
Yeah. So last time you were here, we talked about having tough skin to be in this business.
Yes.
Explain more. What?
You have to have tough skin in this business.
Yeah.
It's so political. Like, I never realized until I got into it how
Yeah.
political it can really be.
Right.
And I really try and stay away from it, because as much as I can now say, yeah, okay, I'm a designer as well, but I'm still a masqueraders one. I'm still paying to, like, go have my fun and enjoy it, because I do love Carnival. But then, obviously, with the social circles that you might go with and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
in general, if you're building a brand, and then with social media, people get to know you. And I think, essentially, with social media, like, they assume they know you that way.
Yeah.
Or they might project you a certain way until they meet you in person and actually get to know you as a person.
Right,
So
right.
people already have, like, some preconception of what you might be like until they meet you, and then
Yeah.
it's like a whole different thing. And you have to have tough skin, because sometimes you'll hear stuff about yourself and you'll just say like, okay.
And you know, you do kind of resemble the Kim Kardashian a little bit.
Guys.
You know,
Guys.
so people, you get that a lot, right?
Guys, yeah, but that's,
So-
I get that on Carnival Day when my makeup is done and my hair.
Yeah,
and
when
once
you're all dolled up.
And then obviously I do love a good old selfie. So like once I'm all dolled up and I like take that selfie, and then when I used to first read it, and I was dating this guy at the time, and we used to be like, I was like, I don't see this. And he was like, me neither. He goes, oh, they're talking rubbish. And then it became a more frequent thing as the years went by. I was like, this is not dying down. Like I just thought it was someone just being funny, but yeah.
I mean,
Dunno.
I mean, it depends. You could use it, and I mean, I don't know.
Some of the comments that I see sometimes are really funny. Like for a second, they were like, "Oh my god, Kim Kardashian went to Carnival." I was like, no. Two completely different people, two completely different body proportions. But
Yeah.
okay.
I guess the whole look and the hair and
I think it's just once the whole dramatic makeup is
Yeah, the makeup.
is involved,
Definitely
and
once you have the
once
makeup.
the makeup and the hair is all done and
it's all done. Yeah,
a couple of sparkles here and there, it's just
yeah,
that's where they get it from.
yeah. So you say you have a 9 to 5. Are you able to juggle 9 to 5 and still do all of this?
Honestly, I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. No, you know, I have a really good team at work. So I
Okay.
work in a hospital in London.
So they understand.
I've been very honest with them about the stuff that I do, like with my specific team, because I work for Women's Health, and the person that I work alongside with, she's amazing as well. So as long as one of us is there, so whenever she needs time off, then I'm there.
Yeah.
And so I literally coordinate my whole schedule with her, and I'm very open with her that I do this as well.
Right.
And she is so positive about it, and so like always pushing me to do more and like get stuff done.
Yeah.
So if anything, I feel like she's my second mom at work. That's always just been like trying to motivate me and be like, okay, what are you doing? Have you done this? Have you done that? Like,
Yeah.
so-
She's old. She's a little older than you.
Yeah, a little bit older than
Well, I was
me.
gonna say that she played maths with you as well.
She actually went to Berlin Carnival. She
Oh,
was
wow.
lit. Yeah, she was living her best life with her friends.
Oh,
She's
okay.
a whole vibe
So
herself.
she understands.
Yeah, so she gets it, but she didn't know the depth of what goes into it until
Right.
she met me, and then she saw what I've done over the last 2 years. Well, this will be my third. Well, in the last year, well, now 4 costumes that I've designed that she's known me for. So she's seen the process of how I started from scratch, and then what it becomes. And after she sees the pictures of launch, the photo shoot, and then when she sees it on the road, so she like absolutely loves. She loves the process of it.
Mm.
And I think she's seen my growth.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always like, okay, what are you doing next? How are you doing this? So she's really great. But at the same time, I work some crazy hours sometimes just to make up that time, which obviously I don't put on Instagram. So everyone's like, do you actually have a job?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I have a job. I have bills just like everyone else, you
Yeah.
know.
See, people only see or know whatever you put on Instagram. They
I was
don't
like,
know
this
what
life
really
doesn't
goes
come
on.
free. I was like, this life
Yeah.
doesn't come free, you know. Like, I have bills like everyone else.
Yeah. Are you working with or building any relationship with any other production companies?
I'm open to it. To be
Open
honest.
to it?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm open to it. So I have a couple of talks in motion at the moment. I can't even really say anything on it at this particular moment
Yeah, right.
until like, and again, like even when we spoke last time, I had done Craves one, but I remember I spoke to you and I was like, okay, this can't be said until it's out, because
Yeah.
for me, it's like, until it's real, it's not real. Like,
Not
I know
real.
I've done it, but until it's not out there,
Right.
then to me, it doesn't exist.
Right.
So there's a couple of talks for like 2020. So we'll see.
So
I'm
we'll
open.
see.
I'm open to it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about next year. I feel it'll be good.
And you plan on branching your sections out in different carnivals eventually?
So I don't know if I'll do it as my section. So, for example, with London, I always consider that one to be
Yeah.
my actual section, because I put so much into it and I do the production and I do all of that for it. For example, Crave, I got to design that section for them. So I feel like that's my first like international baby that I'll get to like see out there. It's
right.
being marketed by Zamaica in Crave. So I'm just here to help bring it to life, essentially. So if it comes to any other bands, it just really depends on what people really want. Like if they actually want me to bring a section for them and promote it, or if they just want me to design for them and just put a section out there, and then they do it all. So it really depends on what people want.
Yeah. So if you had one piece of advice to give to someone who just starting off, just like you, well, not like you, but I mean, just starting off their own business, what would it be? Trying to get into the business of
I would say
being a costume designer.
I would say if you're gonna do this, do it because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I mean genuinely love it. Don't do it for the
hype, the fame,
the circle fame, or the circles that you're gonna move in, because it's a lot of work. It's time consuming. It's stressful on most days. You get anxiety some other days. So you need to like put yourself in a mind space that A, you love this, B, you're doing it for the right reasons, and C, the satisfaction has to come for you for a right reason, because that's where you're going to do it in a way that makes you feel right about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's where, when you're, especially again with social media, people get to know you that way, and that's how they're going to know you essentially. Right. So you want to give off that right energy, and that you're approachable. Like there's so many little things that I've learned over the last 4 years that I would have never known when I first started this. Your skin has to be tough because it is not easy. It doesn't matter what part of the world. You could be the furthest one from anyone, and your skin has to be tough if you're going to get into this, because there'll be days where people will literally not see, like, there's days where these lot have seen me and I look like an absolute tramp because I'm under so much pressure and I'm so stressed out and I'm just trying to get stuff done, but no one will ever see that. So you need to be prepared to like sacrifice a lot of your time. You have to be prepared to lose friends in this process. Like, it happens. It happens as soon as you start to actually build your brand properly, and it starts to become something. You'll see who rides with you, and you'll see who doesn't. Right. You'll hear stuff about yourself. It'll be it's the most weirdest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you hear stuff about yourself like, oh, really? Where did that come from?
Yeah, like it's the most weirdest. It's the weirdest experience. So you really need to be mentally prepared that you're not just. There's a lot that comes with this. Right. So, as long as you're ready to take that all in, and remind yourself every day why you're doing this, when you're having the sleepless nights, or when things are going wrong, or where you literally can't figure out stuff, but you have to make it happen. As long as you're ready for all of that, then I say just do it. Do it because it makes you happy. Do it because it makes the people happy. Do it because you actually have something to offer. Yeah. And don't be scared to do it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what goes on behind closed doors. A lot goes on, so.
It's a lot. You also need to know that you need a very strong team behind you, because as much as you can get a lot of stuff done, and I always feel like I'm a one-woman army, like, I'm like, I can get this done. But honestly, if it wasn't for my friends, like, literally talking to me and taking some of that, like, load off me. Yeah. And then sometimes you need that person to be like, you need to chill out, like, you need to relax. You're doing the most right now. You're acting, or even that person to be like, you're acting up, you're acting out of line. Yeah. So, like, because it gets to a point where you're so pressurized that it's not even like you're trying to act out of line. It just happens because you need stuff done, and it's not like you're trying to be mean to anyone. It's just, come on, like, chop.
So basically, you need someone to check you and put you in place. Yeah,
you need that team. You need someone behind you that you can actually trust. Yeah. For that kind of stuff. So I would tell anyone that's like trying to get into this, do your research, learn what you're trying to do. Right. Even learn from other designers if you can reach out. Learn from other designers, because that's how else you're going to keep this moving. Like, Carnival will keep going, but the same design won't always be here. So it still has to continue with new designers. So it should be really open to have new designers, essentially, because I'm sure there's loads of creative people out there. Mm-hmm. Just try and learn that way as well. Nice. So we can put you in the hot seat again. You ready? Let's go. Rapid fire again. The carnival that you've been to with the most vibes. Well, you've been to a lot. I've been to a lot. Give me two. You're only allowed to give me two. There's like vibes in different places. There's different kinds of vibes. So, that's hard. Because I can tell you London has a different kind of energy because of the crowd we bring in. But I can tell you Trinidad, which is like the whole. Oh, well, your top two. Give me your top two. I can't, because I have a lot of. Your top three. All right. All right. There we go. All right. I'll say Barbados for sure, but that's just because I love Barbados. Okay. And it's such a vibe. Trinidad's road experience, you can't touch Trinidad. I feel like that's just a whole different category of carnival on its own. And obviously, I'm gonna say London. Like, I can't leave London out there. Leave London out? Yeah, I can't. You being biased? Never. All right. So for all three of those, the best band on the road: Crop Over, Trinidad, and for London. London. I'm gonna say mine. So. Yeah, of course. For Barbados, I'm gonna say Crave.
Crave,
for
okay.
Sure, 100%. That whole party band right there, it's just a vibe. Trinidad, I've only ever done I've done Fantasy and Tribe. This is my first time with Tribe.
Okay.
I had a great time with Tribe. I'll be honest.
Everyone loves Tribe.
But my section also had a Moe truck, and I was saturated in Moe and had the best time. So
you're doing Tribe again next year?
I would like to, yes.
All right.
Riding with Trinidad then for sure.
Events. Give me some events for UK. Barbados and Trinidad.
UK, my favorite one for Carnival is Ruckatuck.
Ruckatuck, okay.
Love Ruckatuck. That's just the best breakfast boat party. Love it. Barbados. See, Barbados and Trinidad, I'm a Juve baby, so I love Ambush for both.
Ambush.
Yeah. So I love Ambush for both. What else did I really like in Trinidad? Ooh. You know, you go to so many parties. It sounds so bad. I was like, I go to so many parties, but there's so many bits of certain parties that I really like.
Yeah.
Like, for example, with Brainwash, I just love the setup and all the, like, when they have a theme, they really go in with that theme, which really adds to the actual experience.
Right.
So, like that. But then, for example, in Trinidad, and they have in Jamaica, they have Sunrise.
Okay.
Which is an all-inclusive breakfast. And in Jamaica, it's way bigger than Trinidad. But what the actual theme that they do and the way they do it and the location and all the little bits that they do, like, I really like stuff like that, like little touches, rather than just going to another pool party that just happens to be at a host. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, I like when people put effort into that, because that's when you're paying for it, like, it's the experience you're getting with it. Like, you see that they put effort to try and make this something different and something you'll remember, and obviously then the DJs just shut it down and you have a good time.
You do Scorch and Glass House and all that other stuff as well?
Like, we just went to Scorch and Ice this week. I didn't know it was outdoors, first of all, so I came in this cute little dress with my heels, because last year it was indoors. Well, they had a retract. I was freezing, but when I tell you, between the drinks and the vibe, I had a great time. Oh, and she bought a jacket afterwards and saved my life. But
oh, wow.
I had a great time. But yeah, no. There's a lot of different type of events, like, and they all hold their own, essentially. So I can't really, like, pick and choose, if you know what I mean? Because there's always something good. Like, in Jamaica this year, I had an amazing time on a float. Like, I had such an amazing time, I didn't even make it to the next fet. Like, I was done. I tapped out.
Wow.
That's how much fun I had. But they also have a cool down after Carnival, which 2 years in a row has been my absolute favorite event. Like, just on a beach is like the most relaxed thing. And
in Jamaica?
Yeah.
What's the name of that event?
It's the Bikers Cool Down.
It's cool down.
Yeah, it's just a cool down. And honestly, it's such a vibe. And it's just such a nice way to end it, especially after the road. Sometimes you feel like after the road, there's nothing that happens afterwards. It's just like that high, and then you just, then you're just like, now what? Like, I feel like I have nothing to do. But for them to have that, it's, So,
and you're doing St. Lucia for the first time this year, right?
I am.
You excited about that?
I am. I love St. Lucia so, because and everything that I've seen about St. Lucia from the videos and the pictures and stuff like that, I'm ready for it.
You've done Grenada?
No, I haven't.
Well, probably next year you might do it.
You know what? I literally want to play Midnight Mass. I've seen so many videos. I literally told myself, I was like, one day I'm going to stand in that crowd. I might just stand there and just like look around and be so happy with myself that I actually finally made it. The only reason I haven't done it so far is because it's so close to London that...
Well, you could do it, knock it out and go.
No,
you got to be back in London by a certain time.
No, it's not that. I deal with my production. I deal with my production, and it's so close to London that me going away at that time...
Well, that's what you have your team there for.
I
Hello.
Know, but my team, I can't just be partying the whole time and make my team do all the work. Like, what is that?
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know, I won't have a team left if I continue like that. I'll literally be on my own again.
Yeah. So when you go to Grenada eventually, do you plan on doing the whole job thing?
Oh, yes.
Paint, mud, all
of it.
Stuff, all of it?
Yep.
You're not afraid to get all dirtied up?
I am not afraid. I want it all.
All right. Well, let's say you'd be a real Kardashian if you did that.
No, 100%. Okay. I'm doing it all.
Favorite Caribbean dish?
Oh, there's just too many things like that.
All right, give me one for each. Give me one for Barbados. Give me one for Trinidad. And one in Jamaica. You said Jamaica had good food.
Jamaica had good food, but I just eat. I sound so fat right now. I just like, I eat everything.
What do you guys eat over there?
No, in Jamaica, like, patties just saved my life.
Patties?
They always like come and save my life, but it's gonna make me sound really bougie that I'm always going for lobster for stuff. But their lobster was so flavoursome at this cool down, and they honestly, like, I've had festivals other place, but whatever festival, I don't know what juju they do in the festivals at the beach. That it just tastes so good. And they had do we have snapper? Yeah. The red snapper, that was so good.
Red snapper in
yeah,
Jamaica?
we had that red snappers. Trinidad, you always gotta have some doubles, a little pepper shrimp here and there.
Yeah.
Gotta go for that. A bit of a bust up shot.
Yeah.
Curry all the way. Barbados, God, I live on Chafettes. I spoke
Oh
about
my
it.
God, Chafettes. That's like.
I
Oh
want to say that
man.
when it had some fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all I can remember is eating Chafettes way too much. With a bit of pepper sauce.
It's like,
and it was good.
oh man. All right.
I wasn't even picky about it. It was just like specific things that I've had.
No
in the-
flying fish. No cuckoo. Nothing.
No, did we even get a chance to eat flying fish? I don't remember.
You guys went to Oystons.
I don't think we had a chance because we were working in camp so much, and then in between.
Oh, you
camp,
guys are so busy.
Yeah, because we do distribution for Crave.
Yeah.
And then in between the time we're not distribution, we're at a party. So. You'd be
Where's
lucky
Craig in Barbados? Where are they in?
Oh damn! I can't remember. Huh?
Like where we stay?
Yeah, Mullins.
Mullins.
Yeah,
Okay,
There you
okay.
go.
Yeah.
Honestly, can't remember.
Let's say you guys could have went to Oystons on Friday nights.
Ain't no time for that.
No time for that.
Unless someone's gonna like be able to pack it and bring it to us.
Yeah, yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
like people don't realize when it comes to distribution, it's such a big.
Yeah, you
bang.
guys are there to work, so I
Yeah,
understand.
it's
Yeah.
a massive band first of all. So when you're doing that distribution, you're literally doing like some ridiculous hours,
Yeah.
and you're like running up and down costume here, picking it here, making sure they've got it right, they're sorted, and it's like a non-stop pace. Like once your energy's there, like you have to keep going. If not, you will like.
And you guys have a ride when you guys down in the islands. You guys have someone picking you up and driving you around. Okay, okay,
Yeah. So it's all organized by them.
okay.
But it's just a case of obviously the moment you get that little free time, unless you're like trying to catch some sleep,
Yeah.
you're at a party and you're pumping. So it's not like you get a chance to do a little bit in between.
Yeah.
It's only this year that we're actually staying an extra day after what we did last year, so we can have a day to chill
Chill and relax.
and
Yeah.
actually do some stuff. So maybe this year, you never know.
Never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go, let people know how they can get in contact with you. Social media, website,
so
phone number, all that good stuff.
There's my Instagram,
Mhm.
which is Vanisha2108.
Yep.
For my costumes, you can go to Instagram as well, DBL Vibe Tribe on there. Or you can email me on designbylovenet@gmail.com. So everything is there, and you'll see the link for the swimwear, you'll see the costumes, you'll see Crave's costumes, and anything else that I'm going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It will all be there.
All right. We'll keep in touch. You seem like you're always on the go, so.
I think I'm at that point where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm not holding back. And
Yeah, I can
if
see.
I've got that pace, then I'm just going to make it happen. I
Yeah.
feel like that's my whole energy right now. And I feel like I've given myself that momentum that I'm just like, okay, I can do this. Like, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to hold back now. I feel like I've held back
Yeah.
long enough. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least I can say I tried, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, oh, procrastinating about it, which I've been doing forever.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Vanisha, it was a pleasure having you on the show once again.
Thank you for having me.
And much success moving forward.
Thank you very much.
All right. This wraps up another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Cann. Take care and God bless.